Duplexity, known for being the hardest operation, just got a new world record. And the last world record a few months ago was 11 attacks versus 7 bases, but now it's at its limit. 7 attacks, 7 bases, and we're gonna check it out. We got this awesome task force here, NPCs below. They're running Duplexity as a 10-man. But with so many changes to the game, especially proto troops, maybe a few bugs here and there, they're not only doing Duplexity, but at a 100% rate. So a shout out to all the members here. Rita was also a member who also helped them in their push. But if you want to check out more Duplexity content, search up Asdar on YouTube. But now let's take a look at that operation. It only happened yesterday. 7 attacks, 7 bases. And we'll start with the easy Forlorn Hope bases, only 3 of them right here. First we have 5-star using cool combo. Might see a lot of proto troops here. Looks like a bunch of lasers, Shotgunneer, Dr. Vitamin. And as far as engraver goes, using armor. So this cooker, let's look at how much building health, about 800. And the extra ability was Cryo Bomb. Really awesome, especially satisfying, slowing down all that junk. And honestly, my favorite too is just any sort of laser hit. Of course, Protos are pretty cool too because Shotgunneers, Cryos but better. And Dr. Vitamin gives even more armor to everyone. Now the update happened just a few days ago, which had a little bug. It kind of changed the way that the armor engraving works. Because now if a base doesn't have that much building damage, here it looks like it's only 3 or 4, then rockets don't do a lot of damage. So you can hear all these guys barely doing anything. And that's good for Dr. Vitamin because they're going to speed up the troops, make them do more damage. So it looks like here 5-stars just getting a bunch of shields, then going on the right side. And Cooker's cool because of all these laser beams surrounding the core. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he's got to watch out for damage they're going to do. But it's really just a combination of lasers and proto troops. Because even now, Dr. Vitamin is by far the best proto. Because even against boom cannons, they do a lot less damage. So he's just melting everything here. Looks like he's gonna shock 1 laser or maybe a few mortars. And do want to see some more cryo bombs. He did take 1 bomber, maybe for just some added damage, especially on these shields. But you can see everyone's still looking pretty healthy. Getting rid of these shields right here. Everyone's jittery from all the pills Dr. Vitamin's bringing. Looks like maybe clearing some more on the right side, could be farming some GBE. Because that core does have a fair amount of health. There's that cryo bomb clearing a bunch of mines. And think, because he doesn't have Zukas, he's got to clear a bit more. So he's doing a bunch of those lasers, getting a nice angle for a free snipe. 1 more cryo bomb pops. And looks like most of these lasers, he's out of range. So really satisfying, lasers versus lasers. And that's a Cooker solo. 5-star doing an awesome job, and that's just the first attack. Next for Forlorn Hope is going to be Torrent, another shield base. Looks like Asdar is taking, again, mainly lasers, now some Melon Bombers, Shotgunneers, Dr. Vitamin, all the proto troops. As far as the engraving goes, he is taking Sabotage. Basically means all the ice statues get cut by 35%. So instead of 1200 building health, it's down to around 800. Looks like he's starting with a few lasers over here, clearing some mines. There are shields on both sides, so maybe he's got to burn through the shield on the core. And kind of a mix between a bunch of troops, even a few Scorchers. See where he's going to go with all this stuff. And I was also surprised by how many people in these high-level ops are taking Shotgunneers. I mean, it makes sense, it's like free shocks costing no GB. So right here, clearing a bunch. And I bet those Melon Bombers are gonna really come in handy on the shields. Just doing some critters for those Doom Cannons. Again, Dr. Vitamin, boosting everyone's damage, speed, and giving armor. Essentially, he's just gonna plow through everything. Because he's not taking armor, he's gotta watch out especially for those rockets. So probably clearing a bunch of those cells on the right side. The Scorchers really help because they go way up in front, distracting all that stuff. And once he gets enough space cleared, he can start sniping the core. Shocking these rockets on the bottom. And those melons especially. To slow it down, it's got everything there. Lasers, melons. And because they're shields, time is a big factor. So making sure he gets it down. But melons are like the highest DPS unit ever. So Torrent, also getting a solo. A lot of these hits do look pretty easy, but there's a lot of nuances, making sure you get everything right in the whole hit. We do have one more Forlorn Hope base, that's gonna be a usual solo Callisto. Zombie Pigman, Great Core Rusher, taking all Zooks and Brick with Sabotage. So the building health over here is not gonna be, looks like it's hiding behind that statue. Not gonna be 1600, but around 1100. So Crybomb clearing some mines, Zuko's on the right side. Whenever you just kill cells, you get 3 GB for each one. So it's just extra GB for more shocks and other stuff later on. This Callisto is a bit easier because there's a fewer normal rockets, also missing some shock launchers, but doing some cool smokes up top. And once you get there, looks like it's honestly just one shock. Looks simple, but really important you got those good core rushers. Now you can argue that those might be the boring bases, but let's look at the true Duplexity dual core ones. Now there was about 27 Sabos, looks like most on Deja Vu, some on Spine, but let's check those out. First one, and one of my favorite hits on Deja Vu, using Choppas. As you're hitting again with all Choppas and Rudy, also taking Sabotage. And Deja is one of those bases because, well, you have one core all the way on this side, and another all the way on that side. Looks like building health is around 1200. And especially because mortars, microwaves, flames, well, Choppas don't care about it. Really cool addition that once it became a normal troop, you can do hits like this. Just dancing between cannons, boom cannons, making sure they go down. Because it's really important to get these shields down before you go for the cores. Sometimes you can burn through one shield, but it takes a lot of time, especially with all this building health. Once you get these shields down, you can go on the left side. And of course Rudy, because he is the only flying hero. Since you can fly over everything, you literally don't care about like half the base. Taking this core down, and then all that's left is going on the right side. Does have to watch out a bit on these boom cannons, but luckily he has one shock for some of them, smokes for the rest. And this one rocket could be annoying, but one rocket versus a bunch of Choppas, we know who's gonna win. So rocket Choppas taking down Deja Vu in just one attack, and now that leaves 3 more Duplexity bases. We'll save the best for last, personally I think Spine, but next take a look at Trinity. Got Potbelly, that's surprising, also taking mainly Choppas on Trinity. Looks like armor isn't engraving, which means stuff like rocket launchers do almost no damage. And I guess it makes sense. Normally Trinity has a bunch of shields where these snipers are, but with no shields, you can use Choppas. Again, most of the protos don't even hit them, so Flotsams, Simos, he doesn't have to worry about. And the best part, all these mines, I mean Choppas don't care. So dropping stuff here, waiting for that flare to expire, because once it does, then you can do some bombers on the right side. These bombers usually outrange even those rockets, flotties, so it's a perfect double core free snipe. Of course, really easy layout, but hey, sometimes you need some lucky rolls for a world record. So still awesome hit by Potbelly, and that just leaves 2 more bases. Usually one of the more tough ones in Duplexity. First we have G-King, soloing Winged, and a whole host of troops. Got clone rifles, shotgunners, Dr. Vitamin, melon bombers, and the other 4 boats being some lasers. Notice how much troop damage he has, 300%, and finally taking some armor. Now this is almost a maxed Winged. He's got no shields on the right side, but there's just a bunch of junk everywhere. Got barbed wire, laser beams here, shock blasters, rockets, doom cannons, Simos. It does look like he took nearly all the 4 minutes, so it might have been pretty close. Crybomb clearing some mines on the left side, looks like arting that sniper, and just putting nearly all the boats and smoking up here. Might be really satisfying, especially once they pop. So as I get up there, let's see what's gonna happen. Got Dr. Vitamin making everyone do a bunch more damage. I'm just right there doing all that splash, lasers and melon bombers, shotgunners stunning everything too. And even with the critter timing, he knows it's perfect because he wants to save as many troops as possible. Again, keep on shocking the Doom Cannon. It is taking a while. The building health might have been, that's high, 900. And because he's running armor, no reduction either. So essentially just plowing everything from the left side. The grappler being annoying, of course, pulling off some stuff there. Maybe that's some good news for the clone rifle, because clones don't follow flares. Even if you did use them, they keep on distracting. And of course Kavan, he does bring back these proto troops, so just keep on clearing from the left side. Especially melon bombers doing a bunch of damage to those shields, that rocket. Doesn't have to worry about stuff like those shock blasters, but just Dr. Vitamin with armor and lasers, they're clearing a bunch of stuff. And I can see why it went down to the wire, because he is clearing, but it's not like everything is dying at once. And just appreciating that those lasers, satisfying, doing all that splash. Especially here, taking down his shock blasters, and I think almost ignoring these laser beams. They do a bit of damage, but with this new armor, not enough. So G-King just melting winged with those lasers. Really awesome hit, which means now that we had 6 attacks, there's just one more base left, which is notorious for being the toughest Duplexity base pretty much ever. We got Spine, also hit by G-King, using nearly the same layout. Lasers, melon bombers, shockeneers, and Dr. Vitamin. Taking armor again, we'll look at the base. It's really tough because one, you have shields all spread out along the side, kind of like a spine, and rockets like around both sides, especially on the left, pretty much everywhere. Sure, the new version of armor sort of makes these rockets do almost no damage, like when armor was first introduced, but still using this temporary advantage to get it done. Dropping everyone from the left side, Twitter especially for that Simo, and we'll see what happens. Again, Dr. Vitamin just making everyone do a bunch more damage, not to mention, because he's like a normal medic, doing all that healing. Clearing a bunch of these boom cannons, of course lasers splashing on those microwaves, rockets, and then moving on the left side. Kind of like the last base, he's got to worry about time quite a bit. There's like a whole lot of stuff to go through, and he's got to get it done in under 4 minutes. So here I think he's just getting a bunch of shields. Every time you destroy a shield, get rid of a bunch more HP. And you know what, maybe he gets rid of all of them. After this one, he's only got one more to go. And with armor, Kavan almost dead, as he likes to be. Then it's just getting rid of the cores. It's funny seeing that all his rockets hit and lasers take like no damage. But one of the most satisfying core hits, hitting this one, already getting that one down to half. And finally, it's just the beauty of lasers. Nearly every single attack you saw used them, plus they're like the most satisfying troop ever. Still crazy getting a spine solo just like that, but G-King getting it done. And what's funny is, it's technically impossible to even beat this record, because Duplexity only has 7 bases. 7 bases, 7 attacks, and they got it done in style. So let me know what you think about their run, and again shout out to NPCs below, check out Azure on YouTube for more Duplexity hits. But that's gonna be it for today's video, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.